Heavy rain poured down in the city. Xu Qing climbed the stairs in the rain. A shadowy figure notices something. A shoe hovers over a step, water dripping. Rain falls steadily on a building. Xu Qing peeked, eyes wide with curiosity. Jiang He waited, arms crossed, looking impatient. Someone stepped out of the shower onto the warm wooden floor. A towel and slippers were waiting nearby. A startled cat peeks around a corner. Jiang He notices cat food nearby. A can of soda is opened with a satisfying fizz, gulps down the soda, feeling refreshed. He grinned mischievously, holding a soda can. Bewildered, asks Xu Qing where they are. Xu Qing explains it's his home. Looked surprised, sweat beading on her face. He serious, hand raised. Xu Qing seemed surprised. He reconsiders, deciding to drop it. No problem, you must be busy, someone said understandingly. Rain fell on the city buildings. Jiang He angrily brandishes a knife. Xu Qing looks terrified. The knife hits the wall. Xu Qing sweats in fear. Jiang He swings a real sword, startling Xu Qing. Xu Qing looked intrigued. I've never heard of that. Would you? He seemed curious. Jiang He hesitates, then points at something. She looks down at her wet feet. He searched Kaiyuan's 16th year on his phone. A single tear rolled down his cheek. Jiang He is grateful for the food. Xu Qing is startled by her presence, warning her to hide. Xu Qing wipes Jiang He's tear-stained face. He asks if she's hungry and wants to eat together. Jiang He looks shocked and touched. Jiang He eyes a wrap with curiosity. Xu Qing offers her a bite. She shyly refuses, cheeks flushed. Jiang He glared, her grip tightening on the sword. Xu Qing watched, a little unnerved. Xu Qing is stunned, eyes wide with surprise. Xu Qing offers Jiang He a soda. He slyly imagines her groveling for it. She looks unimpressed. He offered a bite of the wrap to reassure her it wasn't poisoned. Jiang He excitedly agrees, eyes sparkling. Xu Qing eats. Jiang He watches intensely. Jiang He considers eating too. Jiang He is unsure, then decides. Xu Qing realizes the food is gone. He nervously prefaced a shocking revelation. Xu Qing looked thoughtful, urging Jiang He not to be scared. Jiang He, holding her sword, looked serious and wary. Xu Qing nervously told her to put the sword down. He worried she might get carried away. Jiang He, confused, asks where the bath is. Xu Qing offers to show Jiang He how to lock the door. Jiang He looks surprised. Xu Qing is overwhelmed, eyes wide, sweating nervously. He barely avoided a disaster. He examined the sword, a curious expression on his face. A gleaming blade is drawn from its ornate scabbard. He offered her slippers. He looked down thoughtfully at the worn straw shoe. He'd buy her new ones tomorrow. Jiang He's bare feet are visible. Xu Qing finds her adorable. She picks out shoes, humming happily. He blushes, charmed by her. It's almost 2 o'clock. Xu Qing and Jiang He sit at the table. Jiang He sips her tea thoughtfully. Xu Qing watches her patiently. A wooden spoon stirs something in a plastic container. Jiang He asks Xu Qing if he's finished eating. Xu Qing, looking thoughtful, rests his chin on his hand. He remarks that she's 1,200 years out of her time. Xu Qing looked down, troubled. He seemed to be considering something difficult. Jiang He looks puzzled at a bowl of food. Xu Qing assures Jiang He their conversation relies on her acceptance. He explains his house is safe. He jokingly says even if she kills him, she can hide there for a week. Jiang He imagines stabbing Xu Qing multiple times, enraged. Xu Qing lies dead, a playful smirk on his face. He clarifies she'd have 7 days without issue. She looked surprised, raising a finger. Xu Qing reassures Jiang He, telling her to forget about her sword. He explains the modern world is different. He gestures to the TV, calling it harmless entertainment. He awkwardly tries to explain what a TV is. He gives up on a full explanation, just repeating that it's safe and fun. He reached for his phone. Xu Qing showed Jiang He music on his phone. He enthusiastically explained its relaxing qualities. Jiang He, seen from behind, listened curiously. He reassured her, it's perfectly safe. He encouraged questions if needed. He reassured her, promising no harm. Jiang He sat quietly, lost in thought. A mischievous grin spread across the little boy's face. Xu Qing, startled, turned his head. His eyes widened slightly in surprise. Xu Qing told Jiang He the world is peaceful and safe. He looked concerned, touching the window. He added it's only safe for him, but dangerous for her. Jiang. He looked surprised as Xu Qing pointed out the rain. She seemed startled. Xu Qing warned Jiang she's dangerous. He explains with an example about palaces and swords. Jiang He, bandaged, sulks at his lecture. Xu Qing adds she'll be easily spotted as an outsider. Someone searches through a drawer, finding old papers. Xu Qing shows Jiang He an ID card, explaining its importance. He warns her about the strict laws and frequent police checks. A police officer holding handcuffs reinforces the severity of the situation. Jiang He, gripping her sword, looks worried and tense. Xu Qing emphasizes the consequences of breaking the law. Xu Qing sternly warned Jiang He about carrying weapons. He showed his ID, asserting authority. Jiang He looked shocked and indignant. Xu Qing has a clever idea holding an ID card. He looks smug. Jiang He wonders if she's a refugee. Xu Qing looks thoughtful, almost amused. Jiang He corrects herself. Her situation is worse. Jiang He looks worried, listening intently. Someone explains a dire situation. Being like a slave, they emphasize the terrible consequences. Xu Qing, amused, adds a playful remark. Xu Qing was warned of imminent danger. He felt incredibly lucky to know someone from over 1,200 years ago. Jiang He looked thoughtful, a soft smile playing on her lips. Xu Qing offers Jiang He support, promising to help her adjust to the modern world. Jiang He's feet fidget nervously. Jiang He is doubtful and sad. She wonders how she can trust him. She desperately misses home. Jiang He, looking downcast, challenges Xu Qing to simply forget if he doesn't believe her. He explains that her unusual skills would cause a stir online. She looks downcast, realizing the truth in his words. Cooperate, or I can't help you. The clock ticked loudly. Xu Qing stood, looking down at Jiang He. Jiang He looked up at him expectantly. He sits at the table. Someone approaches the table. Jiang He wonders what to do next. Xu Qing playfully advises Jiang He not to draw her sword. He smiles, finding her ways amusing. He offered to answer any further questions, smiling gently. Jiang He turns her head, seemingly startled. He looked flustered and uneasy. Xu Qing, confused, asks Jiang He where his wife is. Jiang He looks surprised by the question. Jiang He looks anxiously at Xu Qing. He sweats nervously, feeling awkward. He mutters that he's there with something inconvenient. A single man, over 20, laments his unmarried status. He looks displeased with his situation. Jiang He looks surprised. Xu Qing asks if she's married. Jiang He sits quietly, seemingly confused. Xu Qing stands awkwardly, awaiting her answer. A single tear rolled down a face. A hand reached up to wipe it away. Jiang He is worried about being alone with Xu Qing. Xu Qing, looking slightly flustered, assures her it's fine. He offers her a spare room. He commanded her to come with him. Jiang He looked up, curious. He extended a hand towards her. She hesitated, unsure. He waited patiently. She took his hand, trusting. He led her away. They walked together. She seemed amazed. He smiled gently. Xu Qing casually explained the messy room. Jiang He, armed with a fishing rod, explored curiously. He added that the room had been unused. For a while, he offers a place to store her things. It's a bit messy, he admits, but he'll clean it. He gives a reassuring smirk. Jiang He stared, wide-eyed and tense. Someone opens a suitcase. Xu Qing tidies up. Jiang He watches, sword at her side. He's worried, only his winter mattress is left. Xu Qing offers Jiang He something clean to use. Jiang He looks surprised and amused by his offer. Xu Qing gently covers Jiang He with a blanket, suggesting she rest. Xu Qing wished it was all a dream. Xu Qing heads into another room. Jiang He, hiding something behind her back, looks curious. Xu Qing introduces himself with a sly smirk. Jiang He looks surprised at the good night. She seems hesitant. Silence hangs in the air. Jiang He stared at the door, curious. Xu Qing held Jiang He's sword. He examined the hilt closely. Jiang He sat alone, looking thoughtful. A full moon illuminates an apartment building at night. Xu Qing lay in bed, seemingly asleep. He shifted, his eyes opening to stare thoughtfully at the ceiling. He looked awake now, a pensive expression on his face. Jiang He sleeps peacefully. Xu Qing feels disconnected from reality. He recounts his unsuccessful job hunt. Caught in the rain, Xu Qing trudges home dejectedly. He considers his day normal, yet unlucky. Jiang He sleeps soundly, unaware. He ended up with a sword-wielding girl. She's always ready for a fight, and she claims to be from the past. Xu Qing woke up looking bewildered. He covered his eyes with his hand. He felt disoriented and confused. Xu Qing slept soundly, a bead of sweat on his temple. He clenched his fist, deciding to sleep and wait until tomorrow. The sky was a clear, bright blue. A bright full moon illuminated the night sky. He slept peacefully, eyelashes resting softly. He stared, captivated. Xu Qing sleepily reaches for his phone. He checked his phone. It was 10 p.m. He seemed thoughtful, wide-eyed surprise. Xu Qing suddenly remembered something from yesterday. He sat up in bed, startled. Xu Qing flinched, startled by a sudden noise. He looked around cautiously. Xu Qing nervously gulped, anticipating something. Jiang He holds a long object, looking serious. She brandishes the object, a flashback revealing it's a fishing rod. She looks puzzled, sitting on the sofa with the rod. Someone watches her, hair falling into frame. Xu Qing is cautiously peeking around a doorway. Jiang He seems unaware. He whispers her name, looking worried. She turns her head slightly. He looks at her expectantly. Xu Qin, relieved and amused, realizes it wasn't a dream. Xu Qin stood confidently, hand on his hip. Xu Qin coughed, still sleepy. He cheerfully greeted Jiang He, surprised she was up. Jiang He, looking confused, asked if it was already noon. She seemed worried about sleeping in. He confirmed something, then asked her if she was hungry. Jiang He shyly admitted something. He looked surprised. Jiang He clutches her stomach, looking distressed. Xu Qin points questioningly, concerned. Xu Qin sensed something and paused, confused. A blur of motion whooshed past him. He reached out, startled. Xu Qin is confused by Jiang He's sudden stunned silence. Jiang He seems shocked, speechless, and overwhelmed. Xu Qin reassures Jiang He. He opens his hand, revealing small silver pieces. Jiang He examines them with curiosity. Eyes wide, she asks if it's gold. Xu Qin grins mischievously. Jiang He, eyes wide, pointed and declared, "This one has it." Jiang He considers pawning more silver. Xu Qin interrupts her urgently. Xu Qin frustratedly gives up on asking Jiang He out. Jiang He, surprised, returns his silver pieces. Xu Qin gazed intently at Jiang He. Jiang He, fiddling with her oversized shirt, looked a little lost. He gently reassured her, promising clothes, supplies, and food. He warned her to stay inside. It's dangerous out there. He brushed his teeth, thinking of her odd attire. He gargles loudly in the bathroom sink. Xu Qin washes his face, preparing for patrols. Xu Qin is stunned, tears welling in his eyes. A drop of drool escapes Xu Qin's lips. He reaches out a hand. It's Jiang. He's cooking. He is utterly entranced. Xu Qin seemed thoughtful, observing the clothes. Xu Qin enthusiastically picks out clothes, pointing at items he wants. He keeps adding to the growing pile. A saleswoman watches, slightly overwhelmed. Xu Qin looked around, confused by the clothes. Jiang He wants one of the cute dresses too. Xu Qin pointed at Jiang He's dress. Xu Qin walked away, feeling troubled. Xu Qin was overwhelmed by the lingerie store. He seemed flustered by the mannequins and displays. He nervously declared he couldn't go in alone. Xu Qin sighed, carrying shopping bags. He looked dejected. They both unpacked their new underwear. Xu Qin walked, slightly blushing, carrying shopping bags. Xu Qin noticed the pharmacy. He seemed curious. He walked towards the pharmacy, carrying shopping bags. Xu Qin agreed to the 200 yuan price. He checked his phone, seemingly nonchalant. Xu Qin looked serious, holding a book. Someone suggests going back. They walk down a busy city street. Buildings tower above them. People move around them. Xu Qin walks home, carrying groceries. He passes a relaxing figure in a courtyard. The building looks old and weathered. Xu Qin returned, holding groceries, confirming he'd been shopping. He nervously explains the call was a wrong number. An older man asks Xu Qin if he has eaten yet, gesturing casually. Xu Qin, holding groceries and books, is likely just arriving. Xu Qin casually mentions a thief in the neighborhood. He advises caution and locked doors and windows. He seems slightly concerned. Someone agrees to keep something in mind. Xu Qin quietly returned home. Jiang He woke up. She was confused and disoriented. Jiang He glared, wielding a staff menacingly. Xu Qin, startled, froze. He gulped, speechless with fear. Xu Qin reassures a wary Jiang He. He offers her food to relax. Jiang He looks uncertain, still on edge. Xu Qin told Jiang He he bought her daily essentials. Jiang He gratefully accepted the small box. Xu Qin mentioned sorting them later. Jiang He thanked him politely. Xu Qin has an idea. Jiang He seems preoccupied. He asks her what's wrong. Jiang He playfully teases Xu Qin. Xu Qin looks amused, enjoying her antics. Someone observes, blushing and speechless. Xu Qin wonders aloud what Jiang He sees in him. Jiang He, curious, lightly touches his face. She considers his question, a playful look in her eyes. Jiang He thanked someone, confused. She wondered about a young warrior. Xu Qin looked determined. This is a big job. Jiang He has a mischievous glint in her eyes. A devious plan brewing. She's feeling a strange impulse. She doesn't know it's called trolling. Lunchtime. Someone opens their bento box, ready to eat. Jiang He devours her food with gusto. Xu Qin stares, wide-eyed at her intensity. Jiang He sips tea serenely. Xu Qin watches her, amused. A hungry Yu Yan enjoys her meal. He savors the meal, eyes closed in bliss. Someone begins to speak. Empty food containers and chopsticks lie on a table. Xu Qin shyly presented Jiang He with some new clothes. Jiang He watched curiously, hand on her chin. He suggested the size should be right, urging her to try them on later. Xu Qing cheerfully offers Jiang He a dress, assuring her it's fine either way. He shows her modern sneakers, praising their comfort over her straw sandals. Xu Qing finds something unexpected. Jiang He curiously shows a bra. Xu Qing is stunned and flustered. He hesitantly suggested she should know how to wear the dress. He offered to find a video tutorial if she needed help. Xu Qing excitedly presents Jiang He with some clothes. Jiang He is surprised. He explains he bought various sizes. Jiang He presents Xu Qing with feminine hygiene products. He blushes, flustered by the implication. Jiang He urges him to figure it out himself. Jiang He looked confused at the unfamiliar object. What is this thing? Xu Qing offered Jiang He 2 books. 1. A historical novel disguised as sci-fi. He also presented a simplified, traditional Chinese dictionary, unsure of its quality. Jiang He looked at the books curiously. Xu Qing browsed a website, seemingly intrigued. At midnight, Jiang He looked surprised. Xu Qing watched her curiously. Xu Qing noticed Jiang, who seemed tired. He suggested she rest and they could talk later. He gently inquired if she had questions about last night. He asked about her status in this world. She looks confused, wide-eyed and slightly parted lips. Xu Qing, a soon-to-be social worker, is unemployed. He ponders his situation thoughtfully. He compares himself to a scholar after the imperial exam, jobless and seeking work. Jiang He is mistaken for a rich kid. She defensively raises a hand. She insists she's from a humble background. She explains there are many other career options. She doesn't want to be an official. Jiang He dreams of gold, excited for riches. Xu Qing watches her, intrigued. Jiang He is engrossed in a magazine. An ancient painting depicts a woman in red. She holds a round object, likely a fan. The book is open, revealing more of the artwork. The woman is shown in different poses and settings. Another page turn shows similar images. The focus is on the woman's elegance. Jiang He looked down, tears welling in her eyes. She was speechless, struggling with emotion. Jiang He intently reads a history book. Panicked, she wonders how to return. Xu Qing pondered, unsure about something. He was asked how he arrived yesterday. He stammered, recalling chasing a thief in the rain. Lost in a forest, Jiang He found a tall building. Xu Qing wondered, puzzled. No forests here. Xu Qing advised Jiang He to focus on adapting to the present before thinking about returning. Jiang He, holding her sword, looked downcast, contemplating his words. Xu Qing excitedly asks Jiang He about her military rank and martial arts skill. Jiang He looks thoughtful, a slight blush on her cheeks. She states her gang is considered powerful. Xu Qing, excited, asks about Jiang He's powers, martial arts, sword skills, flying. He gestures enthusiastically, eyes shining. He wonders about her jumping abilities. Someone walks, thinking, probably. Jiang He considers jumping, pointing upwards. Xu Qing looks unsure. Xu Qing is startled as Jiang He points dramatically at the 4th floor. Xu Qing excitedly asks Jiang He about her martial arts skills, envisioning powerful moves. He wonders if she knows longevity or mystic techniques. He looks hopeful and eager. Jiang He, curious, tilted her head. What's that? Xu Qing excitedly asks Jiang He about her kung fu training. Jiang He looks unimpressed, starting to explain. Xu Qing tells Jiang He that without determination she won't achieve anything. Jiang He eagerly agrees, wanting only to learn. She pumps her fists, excited to be his student. Xu Qing smirked, running a hand through his hair. He wondered if these were mastery or something very strict. Xu Qing apologized. Jiang He, worried, insisted it wasn't enough. Someone's feet shuffle quickly across a rug. Look out for, they warn. Martial arts training begins. Focus on the waist. Jiang He looks determined and ready for action. Xu Qing recoils, surprised. Jiang He initiates martial arts training. She explains that mastery takes time and dedication. Xu Qing looked perplexed, wondering if he could avoid practicing stakes. Martial arts need real stakes, someone declared. He wonders how long the practice will take. Someone guesses 3 years, holding up 3 fingers. Xu Qing was startled by a soldier aiming a rifle. He looked confused and nervous. Xu Qing enthusiastically asks to learn sword techniques. Jiang He sighs, her expression a mix of amusement and exasperation. She tells him he's not coordinated enough for sword fighting. He's destined for a less martial path. Xu Qing looked serious, seemingly deep in thought. Jiang He stared intently, a little annoyed. Xu Qing reassures Jiang He about the clothes. Jiang. He accepts quietly, clutching the bag. The door suddenly bursts open. A hand gripped a sword hilt tightly. He swiftly grabbed something, determined. A swift, precise cut. A gleaming blade flashes. Something is being sliced with skill. A swift, precise hand gesture. A silent, focused moment. Xu Qing moves quickly across the room. He is looking for something. His apartment is messy. He seems determined. He's almost frantic in his search. Xu Qing struggles to lift something heavy. He grunts with effort. It's too much for him. Xu Qing, slightly bewildered, announces he's changed. Jiang, he looked a little flustered, cheeks tinged with pink. Xu Qing watched Jiang He get dressed. He seemed mesmerized. She adjusted her jacket, oblivious. He admired her casual style. She was ready to go out. He looked up at her expectantly. Xu Qing beams, showing off new clothes. Jiang He, amused, finds it easy. Xu Qing watched them walk away, pensive. He seemed to have an idea. Xu Qing cheerfully suggests Jiang He let her hair down, noticing her odd hair tie. Jiang He adjusts her hair ornament. Jiang He hesitantly asks if something should be done like this. She fiddles with a string, uncertain. Her eyes are wide and questioning. Xu Qing is flustered, cheeks blushing, hands clasped together. Xu Qing is overwhelmed, covering his face. Jiang He looks at him with concern. Someone advises not to worry about Jiang He. A beautiful sunset painted the sky. A beautiful sunset filled the sky. A curious gaze peeked through the slightly open door. Intrigued, she observed the scene inside. Xu Qing sits at the table, absorbed in his headphones. He's unaware of someone approaching. The doorway is open. Sunlight streams in. A door creaked open slightly. Xu Qing is engrossed in something. Jiang He peeks, curious. He notices, startled. She gasps softly. Xu Qing recognized someone on TV. Jiang He asked him what was wrong. Xu Qing explains the computer to Jiang He. It's like seeing faraway things. It shows what's happening. Jiang He looks curiously at Xu Qing. He struggles with a book, admitting it's difficult. Xu Qing thinks to himself reassuringly, there's no rush. It's a secret. He admits a slight worry about not being as skilled. Jiang He pondered, a thoughtful expression on her face. Xu Qing sketches, seemingly bored. Jiang He watches him, curious. Jiang He is surprised Xu Qing isn't at work. He gestures defensively, a little flustered. Xu Qing explained his work to Jiang He. He gestured, emphasizing that it requires thinking. Jiang He asks about a businessman, curious. Xu Qing explains the concept simply, saying she'll understand later. He suggests they start with history lessons. Xu Qing enthusiastically agrees to teach her. Jiang He listens attentively as Xu Qing begins his history lecture. Xu Qing imagines himself a wise sage, clearly enjoying his role as teacher. Jiang He looks pleased, a mischievous glint in her eyes. He hesitantly agreed to watch the video. Jiang He excitedly asks Xu Qing about his boss's martial arts skills. Xu Qing casually confirms they are very strong. Xu Qing smirked, a playful glint in his eyes. A video is about to be played. The cursor hovering over the play button. The video appears to be blurry, possibly a historical drama. Jiang He dramatically fights on screen, sword in hand. Jiang He unleashes a powerful attack, yelling. A glowing triangular energy field appears. Jiang He unleashes a dazzling display of power. Golden light streaks through the forest. Jiang He is startled by something Xu Qing said. She blushes deeply, speechless. Jiang He is starstruck, mouth agape. Xu Qing smirks knowingly. Jiang He, startled, stared at the computer screen. Well, she began hesitantly, clicking the mouse. How? She exclaimed, wide-eyed with surprise. Xu Qing, starry-eyed, asks about Jiang He's power. Xu Qing excitedly shows Jiang He something on his laptop. Jiang He, wide-eyed, is amazed by the information. The laptop displays a technique for cultivating immortality. Jiang He attacks. Xu Qing holds a hidden weapon, amused. Xu Qing is impressed. Jiang He blushes, pleased. He excitedly urged someone to watch the screen. A swimmer performed a dramatic, powerful stroke. The swimmer's intense focus was evident. Someone groans in discomfort or pain. The image is blurry and indistinct. A giant hand appears, breaking through a barrier. Jiang He looks shocked and confused. Xu Qing shows off. Jiang He impressed. Jiang He is speechless. Xu Qing asks about their power. Jiang He nervously explains it's all fake. She looks stressed, eyes wide. Xu Qing looks shocked. He has his mouth open. It was all imagined, then filmed. A movie was made. Everything was staged. Nothing is real, she insists. Xu Qing is shocked. Jiang He stares intensely, asking, really? He splutters, fake. She is disgusted. Yuck, seriously. Jiang He intensely questions Xu Qing. A flustered, Xu Qing sweats, looking bewildered. He insists his explanation is true. Kung Fu is fake. Someone points out differences in clothing styles. They explain these are imagined ancient styles. Martial arts are also part of the imagined past. They explain it's just ancient background. Temporary substitutions create the effect. Xu Qing looks confused. Jiang He is also puzzled. Xu Qing doesn't understand the concept. Jiang He makes a sound of agreement. Xu Qing sighs dramatically, feigning deep contemplation. He muses about art and movies. He teases, asking if her leader's kung fu is really that weak. Jiang He watches a sword fight on screen, finding it mostly accurate except for one stance. Xu Qing stretches, surprised Jiang He doesn't know flying techniques. Jiang He, looking amused, explains most people specialize in just one. Jiang He demonstrates impressive physical skills. Her powerful palm strike cracks a training dummy. Xu Qing observes, slightly intimidated. Her hand-to-hand combat is less strong. Jiang He looks determined. Jiang He pondered, realizing her goal was impossible. Jiang He seemed troubled. Xu Qing looked thoughtful, a bit confused. Jiang He hummed, clearly in deep thought. Xu Qing studied her, trying to understand. Xu Qing has a brilliant idea. Xu Qing excitedly points at the screen, recognizing a familiar move. He asks Jiang He if she knows it. Xu Qing excitedly mimes a dramatic action. His eyes sparkle with mischief. He anticipates a specific sound effect. He clasped his hands together, wanting to see for himself. It wasn't about trust. Jiang He looked thoughtful, a little perplexed. She mused, tapping a finger on her chin. Xu Qing understood something at his computer. Jiang He looked on curiously. Jiang He's eyes flashed with determination. She shouted and launched a swift attack. She moved with surprising speed and power. Jiang He observes Xu Qing, who looks flustered. He clasps his hands together nervously. She appears intrigued, slightly amused. Jiang He asks Xu Qing if she's doing it right. Xu Qing, amazed, stares, speechless. He blushes, clenching his fist. Jiang He confirms enthusiastically. Xu Qing offers to teach Jiang He something, holding a long object. Jiang He seems intrigued, ready to learn. He confirms he'll teach her. Jiang He, sword in hand, looked confident and slightly mischievous. Xu Qing enters holding something long. Jiang He looks up, starstruck and awed. Xu Qing celebrated exuberantly. Jiang He watched, unimpressed. She thought silently. A foot nudges a small ball across the floor. Jiang He walks in. A chubby cat greets her. She seems thoughtful. Jiang He's eyes widen slightly, a flicker of emotion crossing her face. A cat dashes out of a room, meowing. Jiang He looks disappointed, clutching her sword. She realizes there's no easy way in. Jiang He observes Xu Qing, sword in hand. She realizes his kung fu aspirations. A chibi Jiang He nervously holds a stick. This new world seems dangerous. Jiang He looked startled, hearing a sound. Jiang He thought it was a pretty long day. Someone grabs a sword. Jiang He swiftly unsheathes the sword. She gracefully cuts through the curtains. She stares, shocked by what she's done. Xu Qing is puzzled. Shouldn't she be napping? Xu Qing is utterly bewildered by a UFO report. He's confused and shocked. Jiang He happily dives into bed. She stretches out, giggling. "Sleep!" she commands herself. She laughs mischievously. Woke up feeling troubled. Jiang He mischievously points, aware of Xu Qing's gaze. Xu Qing blushes, realizing Jiang He is watching him. He thinks about her sleeping in the other room. Xu Qing woke up, confused and disoriented. He looked around with wide eyes. A loud crash startled him. He wondered what had happened. Golden sunlight streamed through the window. Someone lay asleep under the covers. Xu Qing woke up, sleepy and disoriented. He rubbed his eyes, grabbing his phone. He wondered what time it was. Jiang He wakes up, confused. She checks the time, 6:54 p.m. She realizes she overslept. Xu Qing carefully peeked around the doorway. Xu Qing peeked around the door, a thoughtful expression on his face. He decided it was time to show Jiang He the world. Xu Hin sternly instructs Jiang He, observe, don't talk, ask later. Jiang He puts on her shoes, listening intently. Xu Qing continues, arms crossed. No jumping on buildings, no running off, stay close. Xu Qing, looking serious, asked Jiang He if she understood. Jiang He, slightly intimidated, stammered. Jiang He is startled by something. Jiang He curiously examines her modern phone reflection. She looks bewildered, focusing on the device. Her expression is a mix of confusion and slight. Oh. Jiang He seemed perplexed. Xu Qing, on his phone, looked concerned. He asked Jiang He what was wrong. He playfully asked for a smile, gently pulling the corners of his lips up with his fingers. Jiang He had a devious, playful glint in her eyes. She chuckled softly. Xu Qing's eyes widened, a mischievous grin spreading across his face. He's up to something. Xu Qing nervously tells Jiang He her serious face is creepy. He advises her to just relax and walk around normally outside. Jiang He, confused, held a sword. Someone told her to put it down. She looked bewildered, clearly not understanding. Xu Qing gently touches Jiang He's sleeve. Xu Qing dramatically describes himself as weak. He gestures to his chest and looks sheepish, implying he's not tough. He clarifies, though, about being able to throw a punch. He seeks understanding from Jiang He. Jiang He glared, cracking her knuckles. Xu Qing looked on, amused. Jiang He confirms her understanding, looking at her phone. Jiang He is confused. Xu Qing said something surprising. She looks at him questioningly. Xu Qing excitedly suggests a walk. Jiang He looks intrigued. A gentle sunset paints the sky over a weathered apartment building. A faint rustle of wind can be heard. Jiang He walks down the steps. Xu Qing strolls down the street. Jiang He peeks at Xu Qing, curious. Xu Qing seems to be explaining something, pointing a finger. Jiang He looks confused, slightly annoyed. Xu Qing points out the main entrance and road. He excitedly describes the shops lining the street. He mentions necessities like food, clothing, and housing are available. A delivery scooter zoomed past. Xu Qing tried to calm a startled Jiang He. He chuckled, finding her reaction amusing. Xu Qing smugly suggests taking Jiang He out. Jiang He looks annoyed, clenching her fists. Xu Qing arrives, surprised to see Jiang He. Jiang He cheerfully greets someone. Xu Qing watches, confused by the scene. He recognized her with stunned disbelief. Jiang He looked surprised, too. Another man seemed equally shocked. Xu Qing looked startled. His aunt finds Jiang He's face familiar. Jiang He looks intrigued, touching her chin. Xu Qing is asked if Jiang He is his girlfriend. He nervously laughs, calling her just a friend. Jiang He looks shyly surprised. Someone remembers the swordsman from the stairway. They seem unimpressed, remembering the sword. The swordsman stands stiffly, looking serious. Xu Qing is confused by Jiang He's sword. Jiang He stares at it, intrigued. Xu Qing explains it's a prop. He excitedly clarifies it's cosplay. He enthusiastically explains cosplay to a bewildered bystander. Grandma complains about her grandson's zombie pictures. Jiang He looks confused, tilting her head slightly. Xu Qing whispers about another incident, pointing to his ear. A grumpy policeman is mentioned in the conversation. Xu Qing gently squeezed Jiang He's hand. They excuse themselves, leaving a woman with a basket. Xu Qing teased, urging the woman to return to the market. Someone mused about how playful young people are these days. Xu Qing and Jiang He stroll hand in hand. Someone watches them, unnoticed. A fist bumps a waiting open hand. Xu Qing nervously tries to talk to Jiang He. She looks annoyed, arms crossed. He seems to be suggesting something. Someone asks about Jiang He seeing Xu Qing yesterday. Jiang He looks thoughtful, a little worried. Jiang He ignored Xu Qing, glancing at him twice before leaving. Xu Qing recounts this, smirking playfully. Xu Qing and Jiang He are outside. He gestures, explaining something. Luckily, they weren't seen. Jiang He is amazed by a speeding car. Xu Qing patiently explains to a curious Jiang He about cars. He compares them to carriages, but without horses. Jiang He listens intently, a little bewildered. Jiang He is puzzled by a strange horse car. She tilts her head in confusion. Jiang He looked confused, thinking about something. She seemed to be remembering a person. Xu Qing excitedly points out a security camera to Jiang He. He explains that movies are filmed with similar technology. Xu Qing realized they were being watched. Jiang He looked confused. Someone reassures another, likely Jiang He, about modern life. No free-for-all, but no flying either. Xu Qing, alarmed, points. Officials will come. Jiang He asks where he's going. Jiang He tossed pebbles. Xu Qing watched curiously. Xu Qing is curious about Jiang He's stones. Jiang He looks at him, slightly confused. She holds the stones, ready to explain. Xu Qing asks Jiang He what she's thinking. Jiang He looks mischievous, about to do something. Xu Qing grabs her hands, worried she'll cause trouble. He asks if she's planning something reckless. Jiang He made a playful gesture. Xu Qing reacted with a shy, slightly embarrassed, "Hey!" covering his face with his hand. Xu Qing explains traffic lights to Jiang He. She listens attentively. He continues, stressing road safety. The red light means stop. Green means go. Disobeying is dangerous. Cars can hurt you, so be careful. The pedestrian light turns green. Xu Qing and Jiang He stroll. It's time to leave. Jiang He looks thoughtful. Jiang He gazed up, awestruck by the tall building. Jiang He walks down a busy street, observing modern life. A car honks, startling Jiang He amidst the city bustle. Xu Qing looks on, concerned. Jiang He seems overwhelmed by the modern street. A kind elderly man offers assistance. He guides her across the road safely. Xu Qing, surprised, watches Jiang He react to a small, barking dog. Jiang He, startled, shrinks back slightly. The dog continues yapping excitedly. Jiang He, curious and wide-eyed, asks Xu Qing his opinion. Jiang He, wielding her weapon, thought it was nothing. Xu Qing, looking mischievous, considered a hairpin, unsure if it suited her. Xu Qing pondered thoughtfully. Jiang He, with wide, curious eyes, looked at him questioningly. A display of cheap watches and necklaces glittered. Someone, likely Xu Qing, approached the stall. Jiang He admired the colorful array of jewelry. A dazzling array of hair accessories and jewelry sparkled. Someone's eyes sparkled with intense emotion. Xu Qing shows Jiang He a delicate butterfly bracelet. Jiang He looks expectant and eager. Jiang He examines modern jewelry. Xu Qing nervously watches her struggle. He tries to explain its use. Jiang. He glares at him, embarrassed. She imagines wearing it correctly. Jiang, who playfully puts a butterfly ornament in her hair. She looks curious, examining something thin and gold. She seems surprised, intrigued by the delicate golden thread. A small, delicate leaf rests on fabric. Xu Qing looks thoughtful, touching his chin. Jiang He observes him. Dusk settles over. The city skyline. Xu Qing cheerfully orders spicy rice cakes and cucumber. Jiang He watches, slightly surprised. Xu Qing and Jiang He stand together. Someone agrees readily. Xu Qing shows Jiang He a restaurant. He explains it's his usual lunch spot, and where yesterday's delivery came from. He adds that the food is both delicious and plentiful. A childhood favorite. Jiang He listens attentively. Jiang He looked around the restaurant, curiously observing. Jiang He looks curious, slightly confused. Jiang He's eyes sparkle with intense emotion. She seems lost in thought. A quiet moment passes. Jiang He sat quietly at a cafe table. Xu Qing watched Jiang He thoughtfully. Jiang He, unaware, sat with her back to him. Xu Qing's eyes sparkled with intrigue. Jiang He looks excitedly at the food Xu Qing brought. Jiang He looks expectantly, chopsticks poised. Someone suggests they eat. Jiang He looks puzzled, phone in hand, at the table. Xu Qing grabs chopsticks, thanking someone unseen. Xu Qing takes a thoughtful sip of his drink. He seems to be contemplating something. He's focused, eyes narrowed slightly. He finishes his drink, still lost in thought. He sipped his refreshing drink. Xu Qing found Jiang He endearing. He realized leaving her would be hard. The future felt complex. Jiang He enjoyed her meal, cheeks flushed. Xu Qing thoughtfully ate a slice of cucumber, empty plates and a request for the bill. Someone replies, "Got it." Xu Qing happily pats his full belly. Jiang He walks beside him, looking thoughtful. They leave the restaurant. Xu Qing cheerfully suggests they go back. Jiang He listens attentively. Xu Qing washes his hands. He asks Jiang He if she's finally convinced. Jiang He, unimpressed, stares back dubiously. Jiang He looked puzzled, slightly tilting her head. Jiang He seemed deep in thought, a serious expression on her face. Xu Qing cheerfully points out their comfortable modern life to Jiang He. Jiang He listens patiently to his enthusiastic explanation. Xu Qing emphasizes the peace and abundance they enjoy, but he adds a mysterious caveat. Xu Qing explains to Jiang He the benefits of a resolved identity. He relaxes, stretching languidly. Jiang He watches him with a serious expression. Xu Qing and Jiang He sit close together. Jiang He fidgets, homesick and anxious. She wants to go. Back. Yuan mused on the passage of 1,200 years. Jiang He sat quietly beside him. A ginger cat napped peacefully. Xu Qing wondered about Jiang He's identity. He fiddled with his hair, a puzzled look on his face. Their fingers intertwined, a silent connection. He wondered how to solve the problem. Xu Qing reassured Jiang He, "There's a solution." He suggested she infiltrate the neighborhood discreetly. He offered his assistance, a sly grin on his face. He gently petted the orange cat. His expression became more determined as he planned. He continued petting the cat deep in thought. Jiang He is surprised and blushing. Jiang He earnestly thanks the young warrior with a formal gesture. Xu Qing boasts, feeling proud and smug. He strikes a confident pose. Xu Qing, holding a chubby cat, explains to Jiang He the importance of ID. He looks smug, about to tell a story. Jiang He listens attentively, her expression curious. He starts, "For example, yesterday." Xu Qing's eyes shine with intense emotion. He stared intensely, a glimmer in his bright eyes. Xu Qing, holding a cat, asks Jiang He about a missing paper. Jiang He points dramatically to the trash bin. Xu Qing looks bewildered. Xu Qing is stunned. Someone accuses him of throwing something away. He sweats, speechless and shocked. Jiang He explains the serious consequences of her unresolved identity to a worried Xu Qing. He looks distressed, realizing she could be labeled a criminal. Xu Qing explains the importance of an ID card. Jiang He listens attentively, looking concerned. He emphasizes the need for money for basic necessities. Without an ID, finding a job is difficult. Renting any accommodation is impossible without ID. Jiang He looks bewildered, listening to Xu Qing's explanation. Xu Qing gestures, explaining modern travel. He shrugs, frustrated by her lack of understanding. Xu Qing explains her lack of ID is a problem. Jiang He has a bright idea. She wonders if an ID is essential if she can find shelter and income. Xu Qing explains an ID is crucial for modern life. He lists necessities like phones, bank accounts, and online access. Xu Qing stressed the importance of an ID card. His expression was playful, but his words serious. Jiang He playfully teases Xu Qing about the modern world's challenges. Xu Qing looks bewildered, focused on his laptop. Jiang He seems amused by his struggle. Jiang He, eyes wide and worried, gripped her sword, asking Xu Qing if he'd report her. Xu Qing, holding the sword with her, reassured her it was hypothetical. Jiang He is told to study modern history first. Xu Qing gestures, suggesting she learn. Jiang He looks slightly annoyed by the suggestion. Jiang He looks expectantly at Xu Qing. He nervously clicks his mouse. She shifts uncomfortably, waiting. Jiang He seemed troubled, lost in thought. Jiang He hesitantly asks Xu Qing if she can stay. He allows it, slightly wary, as long as she doesn't use her sword. Xu Qing looked curiously at a meowing cat. The cat, Melon, greeted him cheerfully. Xu Qing realized he forgot to feed Jiang He. Xu Qing lovingly pets Melon. Jiang He watches, intrigued. Melon purrs happily. Jiang He is thoughtful, curious. A plump orange cat is held up, called Melon. Xu Qing, holding a ginger cat, suggests Jiang He study. She looks surprised by his words. Jiang He looks thoughtful, then agrees quietly. Xu Qing, frustrated, makes no progress on his laptop. Xu Qing stared at his phone, surprised. It was 10:00 a.m. He blinked, slightly confused. Someone is calling Qin Hao. Xu Qing proudly thought of his friend Qin Hao, a successful police officer. A casual text message. Yo, what's up, man? Need anything? With a silly cat sticker. Jiang He angrily brandishes a sword at Xu Qing. He looks calmly at her. Xu Qing pondered, looking at his phone. He seemed to be making a decision. Xu Qing texted. A friend, suggesting drinks. His friend readily agreed, letting Xu Qing choose the time. Xu Qing thought about it. Xu Qing celebrates joyfully. Shower time. Bare feet padded softly across the wooden floor. Xu Qing, fresh from the shower, admires himself. He seems pleased with his physique. Xu Qing waited, a curious look on his face. Xu Qing, shirtless and in a towel, cheerfully offers snacks. Jiang He punches Xu Qing, her face furious. Xu Qing is taken by surprise, his face contorted with pain. He realizes he forgot Jiang. He was there. He looks at her, stunned and annoyed. A fist connected with a shoulder. Xu Qing smirked, feeling playful. Someone saw it and dashed out the door. Jiang He peeked cautiously from behind a door. She looked, worried. Someone bursts dramatically into the apartment. A figure rushes towards the kitchen. They're looking for someone or something. They seem surprised, not finding their target. Frustration shows, maybe even a little panic. Jiang He dashes out of the bathroom. She rushes through the room. A clock loudly ticks. A door frame stands nearby. Jiang He enjoyed a hot shower, washing her hair. Jiang He enjoys a hot shower. She thinks people bathed daily in the past too. A writing pad is presented, sleek and new. Xu Qing shows Jiang He a writing pad. He explains its functions enthusiastically. Jiang He, wide-eyed, listens attentively. He encourages her to try writing. Jiang He agrees softly, a little nervous. Bare feet gently step onto a soft surface. A chubby ginger cat meows, perched between Jiang He and Xu Qing. Jiang He blushes, captivated by the cat's cuteness. Xu Qing looks surprised by the cat's sudden appearance. Xu Qing tells Jiang He to study while he feeds the cat. Jiang, who focuses intently on her laptop. Xu Qing playfully refers to the cat as a fat melon. Jiang He hums in response, seemingly amused. Xu Qing pours cat food. Jiang He, curious, asks what it is. A very round cat enjoys its meal. Xu Qing showed Jiang He cat food, explaining what it was. Jiang He, puzzled and curious, stared at the package. He asked if she also kept food for cats. Jiang He dreams of cat food growing on trees. Xu Qing, puzzled by her thought, sweats a little. He explains manufactured cat food to her. A figure, likely female judging by the leg, approaches a wooden cabinet. Speed lines suggest a quick movement. Someone offers something kindly. Xu Qing gives Jiang He dinner. He tells her he's going out to see about her ID. Jiang He looks surprised and a little flushed. Xu Qing cautioned Jiang He to stay put. He promised to teach her how to use modern technology. Jiang He, munching on a snack, listened with wide, innocent eyes, a slight blush on her cheeks. She continued eating, captivated by the new flavors. Jiang He enjoys a burger. Xu Qing finds her adorable. Jiang He enjoyed her burger. A cat meowed nearby. A chubby, adorable cat looks up with wide eyes. Jiang He gazes lovingly at the charming feline. Xu Qing, holding a fat cat, tells Jiang He to eat cat food. Jiang He, holding a burger, looks annoyed. Jiang He protectively clutches her food. Xu Qing suggests sharing. Jiang He refuses vehemently, cheeks puffed. Xu Qing explains his actions with a serious face. He's biting a plush toy. He thinks it's unhealthy. Jiang He is shocked. Eyes wide, mouth agape. She holds a bun. Lightning crackles behind her. Jiang He, with cat ears, devours a burger intensely. She's sad it doesn't smell good anymore.